In 2024, Costco was ranked among the most trusted companies in America. Its revenue exceeded $242 billion. Its membership renewal rate in the United States stood at 93%, and despite operating on razor-thin margins, it consistently outperformed competitors with higher prices, broader selection, and more aggressive marketing. Costco does not rely on viral campaigns, celebrity endorsements, or constant reinvention. Most customers could not name its CEO. Few could describe its corporate strategy. Yet once people join, they rarely leave. This is the story of how Costco built one of the most durable business models in modern retail by doing less, charging less, and refusing to optimize for short-term profit. To understand Costco's strategy, it helps to begin with what it chose not to become. By the late 20th century, American retail was defined by expansion. More stores, more products, more promotions, more variety. Companies like Walmart, Sears, and Kmart raced to dominate square footage and shelf space. The logic was simple. The more items you offered, the more likely customers were to buy. Scale was power. Margin could be figured out later. Costco took a different approach. The company traces its roots to Price Club, founded in 1976 by Saul Price in San Diego. Price believed consumers would accept fewer choices in exchange for lower prices, but only if those prices were genuinely lower, not temporarily discounted or artificially promoted. The concept was membership-based wholesale. Customers would pay an annual fee for access. In return, the retailer would sell goods close to cost. When Costco was founded in 1983 by Jim Sinegal and Jeffrey Brodman, it adopted and refined that philosophy. Sinegal, in particular, was deeply influenced by Saul Price's thinking. He believed retail had become too focused on extracting value from customers rather than serving them. Costco would invert that relationship. From the beginning, Costco imposed strict limits on itself. A typical Costco warehouse would carry around 3,700 SKUs. A traditional supermarket might carry over 40,000. The goal was not variety, it was curation. Every product sold at Costco had to justify its place. If two brands were functionally similar, one would be eliminated. If a product did not meet quality expectations, it would be removed regardless of margin. This approach reduced complexity and increased negotiating power with suppliers. Fewer products meant larger volumes per item. Larger volumes meant better pricing. But pricing alone was not enough. Trust mattered more. Costco implemented a policy that would later become defining. The company capped its markup on branded goods at approximately 14% and on its private label Kirkland Signature products at around 15%. This was not a suggestion, it was a rule. In an industry where margins were often opaque and variable, Costco made its economics predictable. Customers did not need to guess whether they were getting a fair deal. They understood Costco's incentives. The company made its profit primarily from membership fees, not product markups. That decision had consequences. Costco's gross margins were consistently lower than competitors. In many years, they hovered around 11% compared to 25% or more for traditional retailers. Wall Street analysts questioned the model. Why leave money on the table? Why not raise prices incrementally? Why not monetize trust? Jim Sinegal's response was consistent. Trust was not something you extracted, it was something you compounded. By the early 2000s, Costco had grown rapidly, but it remained disciplined. Stores were warehouse-style. Layouts were simple. Marketing was minimal. There were no loyalty cards, no coupons, no complex pricing tiers. What customers saw was what they got. Employees were treated differently as well. Costco paid higher wages than most retailers. It offered healthcare benefits to both full-time and part-time employees. Turnover was significantly lower than industry averages. Sinegal believed happy employees treated customers better, reduced theft, and improved operational efficiency. This was not framed as altruism, it was framed as cost control over time. Higher wages reduced hiring costs, experienced staff made fewer errors, strong internal culture reduced the need for supervision. The savings were indirect but real. This philosophy put Costco at odds with some investors. In the early 2010, activist pressure mounted. Shareholders argued Costco was under-earning and could increase margins easily. Sinegal resisted. He retired in 2012, but the culture he built remained intact. Craig Jelinek, his successor, continued the same approach. Costco would raise membership fees occasionally, but only after value had already increased. It would not nickel and dime customers or introduce unnecessary complexity. This restraint became more visible during periods of stress. During the 2008 financial crisis, many retailers cut staff, reduced quality, and raised prices. Costco did not. It maintained wages and continued offering generous return policies. Customers noticed. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Costco again took a measured approach. When panic buying surged, the company imposed limits on essential items to ensure availability. It paid bonuses to frontline workers and absorbed costs. Competitors passed on. Trust deepened. By the early 2020, Costco's model produced a unique outcome. Membership fees alone generated enough operating income to cover most overhead. That meant product sales could remain aggressively priced without threatening profitability. The result was a feedback loop. Low prices attracted customers. Customers paid membership fees. Membership fees funded operations. Operations reinforced low prices. Low prices reinforced trust. Trust drove renewal. The numbers reflected it. In the United States and Canada, Costco's membership renewal rate consistently exceeded 90%. Globally, it hovered around 88%. Once customers joined, they tended to stay. Importantly, Costco did not pursue trust through branding. There were no emotional campaigns about family or lifestyle. The message was implicit. Do right by the customer and let behavior speak. The Kirkland signature brand exemplified this. Introduced in the mid-1990s, Kirkland was not positioned as a cheaper alternative. It was positioned as equal or better. Costco worked directly with manufacturers to produce private label goods that matched or exceeded national brands. If a Kirkland product did not meet expectations, it was pulled. Over time, Kirkland developed its own reputation. Customers began choosing Kirkland deliberately for quality as much as price. The brand extended into wine, batteries, clothing, and premium goods. This success strengthened Costco's leverage. Suppliers wanted access to its volume and reputation. Costco could demand better pricing and higher standards. Yet the company resisted expanding selection. Even as Kirkland grew, total SKU count remained limited. This discipline was tested as e-commerce reshaped retail. Amazon redefined convenience. Traditional retailers scrambled to respond. Many tried to mimic Amazon's breadth. Costco did not. Costco expanded online cautiously. It offered curated assortments and bulk items. It did not attempt to replicate the endless aisle. Instead, it leaned into its strengths: value, trust, and simplicity. The company also avoided many digital monetization tactics: no targeted ads, no dynamic pricing, no algorithmic upselling. Prices remained stable and predictable. Customers trusted that promotions were not manipulative and returns would be honored without friction. Costco's generous return policy reinforced this perception. Abuse existed, but the company accepted it as the cost of goodwill. This puzzled analysts. Why tolerate inefficiencies? Why not tighten policies? The answer became clearer over time. Costco's customer base was unusually loyal and high spending. Members visited frequently and purchased in volume. Average transaction sizes were larger than competitors. Word-of-mouth referrals were strong. Trust reduced friction. Friction reduction increased throughput. Throughput compensated for low margins. The strategy was quiet, but resilient. During inflationary periods in the early 2020s, Costco again demonstrated restraint. While competitors raised prices aggressively, Costco worked to absorb costs where possible. It delayed fee increases and negotiated with suppliers. When increases were unavoidable, they were communicated transparently. By 2024, Costco's reputation had become an asset more powerful than any campaign. It was seen as a place where prices were fair, employees were treated well, and quality was reliable, not perfect, but consistent. This consistency extended to decision-making. Costco rarely entered new categories impulsively. It tested slowly and avoided trends that conflicted with its value proposition. It did not chase novelty. In a business environment obsessed with growth hacks, Costco practiced patience. The result was not explosive growth, but steady compounding. Over decades, that compounding produced scale. Costco became one of the largest retailers in the world without positioning itself as a disruptor. It framed success as discipline. That distinction mattered. Costco's strategy did not depend on predicting the future. It depended on behaving consistently in the present. Treat customers fairly, pay employees competitively, limit complexity, protect trust. This approach created optionality. When conditions changed, Costco did not need to scramble. It already had goodwill. There were trade-offs. Costco's growth was slower than some competitors. It did not maximize profit per transaction. It sometimes left money uncollected, but it avoided catastrophic errors. The company did not face major brand crises or mass defections. It did not need reinvention narratives. Trust reduced volatility. The contrast with other retailers became clearer over time. Companies that optimized for short-term margins often faced backlash. Pricing scandals, data misuse, quality declines, employee dissatisfaction. Each eroded trust incrementally. Costco avoided those pitfalls not by being perfect, but by being predictable. Predictability became a competitive advantage. By the mid-2000s, Costco's valuation reflected this stability. Investors who once criticized low margins began to value durability. Membership revenue provided recurring income. Loyalty reduced churn. The business was less sensitive to cycles. The strategy that once seemed conservative now appeared prescient. Costco's success was not one decision. It was the accumulation of refusals. Refusals to overprice. Refusals to overcomplicate. Refusals to extract maximum value at the expense of long-term relationships. This restraint required conviction. Leadership had to disappoint analysts in the short term. Shareholders had to be patient. It also required clarity. Costco was not trying to be everything. It was trying to be trustworthy. That clarity simplified decisions. When faced with opportunities, the question was not, will this increase profit? It was, will this reinforce trust? If unclear, the company declined. This filtering prevented drift. Over time, customers internalized Costco's incentives. They understood that the company's success aligned with their own. That alignment reduced skepticism and increased loyalty. The quiet nature of this strategy is why it is often overlooked. There are no dramatic turning points, no viral moments, no heroic rescues, just consistency. In an era where businesses chase attention, Costco accumulated credibility. While others optimized for engagement, Costco optimized for reliability. The difference appears only over long horizons. By the time competitors recognized the value of trust, Costco had already built it into its operating system. This is not a story of perfection. Costco has made mistakes and faced criticism, but its core strategy held. In retail, where trust is often treated as marketing, Costco treated it as infrastructure. That choice shaped everything. The lesson is not that every company should copy Costco. Most cannot. The discipline required is incompatible with many models. The lesson is that trust, when treated as a primary asset, changes incentives. It slows decisions. It limits exploitation. It prioritizes relationships over extraction. Costco accepted those constraints. The payoff took decades, and unlike trends, decades do not expire. This is the story of how Costco built one of the most trusted brands in modern business, not by promising more, but by quietly, consistently delivering exactly what it said it would.